The storm came without warning. Jack Miller stood at the top of the lighthouse, watching as dark clouds rolled in from the horizon. The weather radar hadn't predicted this, but then again, Earth's weather patterns hadn't been the same since they'd opened the interstellar port 5 years ago. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the massive transport ships anchored safely in the deep waters. These vessels, designed for both space and sea travel, looked like giant metal whales floating in the choppy waters. Jack liked these quiet night shifts. Being a lighthouse keeper at humanity's first interstellar port wasn't as exciting as people thought, but he preferred it that way. The rain started hitting the windows hard, making a sound like tiny pebbles against glass. Jack checked his instruments again. Something wasn't right. The energy readings were off the charts, showing patterns he'd never seen before. "Control, this is North Point Lighthouse." He spoke into his radio. "I'm picking up some strange energy signatures. Are you seeing this?" Static answered him. The storm must have been interfering with communications. Jack adjusted his equipment, trying to get a better reading. That's when he saw it. A bright streak of light cutting through the clouds, heading straight for the water. At first, he thought it was lightning. But lightning didn't move like that. Lightning didn't leave a trail of blue fire in the sky. And lightning definitely didn't crash into the ocean with a flash of purple light. Jack grabbed his emergency binoculars, the high-tech ones designed to work in any weather condition. Through the rain-streaked lenses, he could see something floating in the water about half a mile out. It looked like pieces of metal, shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Then he spotted movement. There was someone, or something, in the water. Jack didn't hesitate. In 15 years of service, he'd never lost anyone on his watch, human or alien. He wasn't about to start now. He rushed down the spiral staircase, taking the steps 2 at a time, his boots clanging against the metal. The emergency rescue boat was already prepped. He always kept it that way, no matter what. The winds howled as he stepped outside, nearly knocking him off his feet. The rain felt like ice against his skin. Jack could hear the waves crashing against the rocks below, a sound that usually calmed him but now only added to his urgency. He reached the boat launch in record time, his hands moving automatically through the safety checks. The small rescue craft was state-of-the-art, designed to handle the worst conditions Earth's oceans could throw at it. As he powered up the engines, his training kicked in. Check the fuel, check the medical kit, check the life support systems. The boat dropped into the angry sea with a splash that was lost in the storm. Jack turned on the powerful searchlight, cutting through the darkness. The waves were massive now, easily 20 feet high, but the boat's stabilizers kept him steady as he pushed forward. Through the rain and spray, he could still see the strange glow where the object had crashed. It was getting fainter by the minute. Whatever was out there wouldn't last long in these conditions. Jack pushed the engines harder, fighting against the force of the storm. A particularly large wave lifted the boat high into the air before dropping it back down with a bone-jarring crash. Most people would have turned back by now, but Jack had seen too many ships go down, too many good people lost to the sea. He wouldn't let that happen tonight. The glowing debris field was closer now. Through the rain, he could make out twisted pieces of what looked like some kind of spacecraft. And there, in the middle of it all, was a figure struggling to stay afloat. As Jack's searchlight swept across the water, he caught a glimpse of something that made his heart skip a beat. The figure was humanoid but translucent, its body seeming to pulse with internal light. This wasn't a human drowning victim. This was something entirely different. Jack tightened his grip on the wheel. Human or alien, it didn't matter. Someone needed help, and he was going to provide it. That's what lighthouse keepers did. That's what humans did. He turned the boat directly into the waves, heading straight for the drowning alien. The rescue boat crashed through another massive wave, sending spray everywhere. Jack could see the alien clearly now. Its body glowed with a soft blue light that pulsed weaker with each passing second. Whatever it was dying. "Hold on." Jack shouted, even though he knew the alien probably couldn't understand him. The words were more for himself anyway. He'd never attempted a rescue quite like this before. The alien's movements were becoming slower, more desperate. Its semi-transparent body showed internal organs that looked nothing like a human's, all crystal-like structures and flowing light. But the way it fought to stay above water, that looked exactly like a drowning person. Jack maneuvered the boat as close as he dared. The debris field from the crashed ship made it dangerous to get too close. Sharp pieces of what looked like crystal metal floated everywhere, threatening to punch holes in his hull. He grabbed the rescue pole, a long carbon fiber rod with a loop at the end. It was designed for human rescues, but it would have to do. The alien saw him and reached out with an arm that seemed to be made of living glass. That's when things got complicated. The moment the alien touched the pole, a jolt of energy surged through it. Jack felt his hair stand on end. The pole's rubber grip saved him from the worst of it, but he could feel a tingling sensation running up his arm. "Okay, that's different," he muttered. But he didn't let go. Instead, he pulled harder. The alien was surprisingly light for its size. As Jack helped it aboard, he noticed that its body seemed to be losing its glow. The internal lights were dimming, like a flashlight running out of batteries. That couldn't be good. Up close, the alien was both beautiful and strange. It stood about as tall as a human, but its body was like looking through crystal clear water. Inside, patterns of light moved in ways that reminded Jack of the northern lights he'd seen as a child. The alien tried to stand but collapsed onto the deck. It made a sound like wind chimes in a storm, musical but distressed. That's when Jack noticed something even more worrying. Wherever the rain hit the alien's skin, small wisps of steam rose up. The water, Jack realized. It's hurting you, isn't it? The alien's eyes, 3 of them, arranged in a triangle, blinked at him. They glowed brighter for a moment, then dimmed again. Its body was starting to look cloudy, like dirty glass. Jack didn't waste any more time. He grabbed the emergency tarp from under the seat and quickly covered the alien. At least it would keep the rain off. Then he turned the boat around and pushed the engines as hard as they would go. The trip back seemed to take forever. Every wave that hit them made the alien shudder. Its body was getting cloudier by the minute, and the beautiful light inside was barely visible now. Jack found himself talking, trying to keep both of them calm. "Just hold on," he said. "We're almost there. I don't know what you are or where you came from, but you're going to be okay. I promise." The lighthouse beam cut through the darkness ahead of them, showing the way home. Jack had never been so happy to see it. But they weren't safe yet. Getting the alien from the boat to the lighthouse would expose it to more rain. He looked at his passenger, now barely glowing at all. The alien looked back at him with those 3 dimming eyes. Then it did something unexpected. It reached out and touched Jack's hand with its crystalline fingers. The touch was gentle, and despite looking like glass, the alien's hand felt warm. In that moment, Jack understood something important. He wasn't just dealing with some strange creature. He was helping a person. Different, yes, but still a person who needed help. He squeezed the alien's hand gently. "We're going to figure this out," he promised. Together, getting the alien into the lighthouse was tricky. Jack wrapped it completely in the tarp, trying to shield it from the rain. Even so, he could hear a faint sizzling sound whenever a drop found its way through. The alien's body, once crystal clear, now looked like frosted glass. Inside the lighthouse's ground floor, Jack quickly cleared off his work table. "Here," he said, helping the alien lie down. The creature was shivering now, its internal lights flickering like a dying bulb. Jack ran to his supply closet. He had basic medical supplies for humans, but what good would those do for a being made of living crystal? He grabbed some towels anyway. At least he could get it dry. As he turned back, he noticed something odd. The alien was moving its hands in a specific pattern, and a small device was forming in the air in front of it. built from little points of light. The lights solidified into what looked like a small silver disc. The alien picked up the disc with shaking hands and pressed it against its throat. There was a soft humming sound. Then a voice filled the room. It sounded neither male nor female, but it was clear and understandable. "Thank you," the alien said through the translator. "The salt, it burns. Need pure water. Fresh, no salt." Jack's eyes widened. Fresh water. Of course. He ran to his kitchen and grabbed all the bottled water he had. When he returned, the alien's glow was so faint he could barely see it. "Will this work?" he asked, holding up the bottles. The alien's 3 eyes focused on the bottles. Then it nodded weakly. Jack opened one, and following the alien's gestures, poured it directly onto its chest. The effect was immediate. Where the fresh water touched, the cloudy surface began to clear. The internal lights brightened slightly. Encouraged, Jack opened more bottles, carefully pouring them over the alien's body. "Better," the alien said through the translator. "The salt water, it disrupts our crystalline structure. Makes us lose cohesion. Like being dissolved," Jack said, understanding. "That's why you were dying out there." "Yes." The alien's voice was stronger now. "My ship malfunctioned. Crashed. Did not know this planet's oceans were toxic to my kind." As Jack continued pouring fresh water, the alien's body gradually returned to its natural state, clear as glass with beautiful patterns of light moving inside. Its 3 eyes glowed brighter, and its movements became more fluid. "I am a scientist," the alien explained. "My people are called." The translator made a sound like tinkling crystal. "But you may call me Blue. It matches my inner light." "Yes." "Blue," Jack repeated, smiling. "I'm Jack. I'm the lighthouse keeper here." "Lighthouse keeper," Blue said the words carefully. "You watch for dangers and help those in trouble." "That's right. Though usually I'm helping human ships, not alien scientists who fall from the sky." Blue's lights pulsed in what Jack thought might be amusement. "My people, we are water dwellers, but not like your ocean creatures. We need pure water. Clean water. No minerals, no salt." "Like distilled water?" Jack asked. "Yes, your understanding is quick." Blue's lights brightened. "We have great cities in the pure water seas of our world. Nothing like your salty oceans." Jack had so many questions, but he noticed Blue's lights were pulsing slower, like someone fighting sleep. "You should rest," he said. "You've been through a lot." "Yes, rest." Blue's translator voice sounded tired. "But first, must send signal. Let my people know. Humans are not as primitive as we thought. You saved me. No primitive being would risk themselves for an unknown life form." "Anyone would have done the same," Jack said. "No," Blue's 3 eyes fixed on him. "They would not. That is why this day changes everything." The storm had passed, and morning light streamed through the lighthouse windows. Jack sat across from Blue, both of them drinking water, though Blue absorbed it directly through their crystalline skin while Jack used a cup. "So your cities are completely underwater?" Jack asked, fascinated by the holographic images Blue was projecting from their translator device. The images showed vast structures that looked like they were made of living crystal, pulsing with the same kind of inner light that Blue had. "Yes, but not like your ocean cities," Blue explained. Their voice through the translator was stronger now. "Our buildings grow. We shape them with our thoughts and energy. Like this." Blue touched a drop of water, and before Jack's eyes, it transformed into a tiny crystal structure. "That's amazing." Jack leaned closer to look. "We have to build everything the hard way, piece by piece." "Yet you build anyway." Blue's 3 eyes brightened with interest. "We have watched your kind for some time. You face impossible challenges, and instead of giving up, you find ways around them." "What do you mean?" "Look at this lighthouse." Blue gestured around them. "Your people cannot breathe water, cannot survive the depths, so you build these towers to warn ships of danger. You create machines to travel underwater. You adapt. Jack had never thought of it that way. I guess we do. We have to. We're not naturally suited for most environments, so we have to change them or find ways to survive in them. Blue's internal lights pulsed with excitement. Exactly. My people, we can only survive in pure water. But humans. Blue projected a series of images showing humans living in different environments. Deserts, mountains, even space stations. You live everywhere. You find a way. Is that why your people have been watching us? Jack asked. Partly. Blue's lights dimmed slightly. Some thought you were dangerous. Too adaptable. Too unpredictable. They said you would bring chaos to the galaxy. Jack felt his heart sink a little. And what do you think now? I think, Blue's lights brightened again, that they never saw a human risk their life to save a strange alien during a storm. They never saw what I saw. The translator hummed as Blue continued. My people value harmony above all else. We thought your chaos, your constant adapting and changing, was a threat to that harmony. We were wrong. There is harmony in helping others, even when they are different. You showed me that. Jack felt himself blush. Really, anyone would have done the same. No, Blue's voice was firm. I have accessed your global information network. Many humans fear what is different, yet you acted without hesitation. Why? Jack thought about it. Because it was the right thing to do. Someone needed help. Their species didn't matter. Simple words. Blue's lights pulsed softly. But they change everything. My people have technology that could help yours. Ways to clean water, produce energy, grow food. But we held back, thinking humans weren't ready. And now? Now I wonder if perhaps we weren't the ones who weren't ready. Blue stood up, their crystalline body catching the morning light. We thought we were so advanced, but we let our fears stop us from reaching out. One human with a simple moral code showed more wisdom than centuries of our careful observation. Jack watched as Blue walked to the window, their body refracting the sunlight into rainbow patterns on the wall. Sometimes, Blue said, the most advanced civilization isn't the one with the most technology. It's the one that remembers to help a stranger in need. Looking out at the calm sea that had nearly claimed their life, Blue added softly, I think both our peoples have much to learn from each other. The afternoon sun had turned the lighthouse's main room golden when Blue's communication device finally made contact with their home world. Jack watched as a hologram appeared, 3 crystalline beings like Blue, but with deeper, more intense internal lights. My council, Blue spoke in their musical language, the translator working both ways now. I have important news from Earth. Jack stood quietly to the side, trying not to stare at the magnificent beings in the hologram. Their bodies contained swirling patterns he hadn't seen in Blue's, like galaxies made of light. Scientist Blue, one of the council members, spoke, their voice chiming through the translator. We detected your ship's destruction. We feared you were lost. I would have been. Blue's lights pulsed strongly. But I was saved. By a human. The council member's lights flickered in what Jack guessed was surprise. The middle figure spoke again. A human. You revealed yourself to them. I had no choice, Blue explained. My ship crashed in their ocean. The salt water was dissolving my form. I would have died. But this human. Blue gestured to Jack. He risked his life to save me. In a terrible storm. The council members turned their attention to Jack. He felt their gaze like a physical weight. Step forward, human, the lead council member said. Jack moved closer to the hologram. Hello, he said simply. I'm Jack Miller. I'm the lighthouse keeper here. A protector of vessels, another council member noted. But you protect your own kind. Why risk yourself for one not of your species? Jack straightened his shoulders. Because someone needed help. Where I'm from, that's all the reason we need. The council members' lights swirled faster. They spoke among themselves in their musical language, too quick for the translator to keep up. Finally, the lead member turned back to Blue. "You know our position on humanity," he said. "For 50 of their years, we have watched them. We saw their wars, their pollution, their chaos. We decided they were too dangerous for contact." "You were wrong." Blue's voice was firm. "Yes, humans can be chaotic. Yes, they make mistakes. But they also learn from them. They adapt. They grow. They are primitive," the third council member argued. "Their technology." "Their technology doesn't matter," Blue interrupted. "Their hearts do. This human didn't have special equipment to detect my species. He didn't know if I was dangerous. He simply saw someone in trouble and acted." The council fell silent. Blue continued, their lights pulsing with passion. "We have been so focused on their technological progress that we missed something more important: their capacity for compassion. Their ability to care about life, any life, even one completely alien to them." Jack listened, amazed. He had never thought his simple act of rescue would lead to this moment. "Consider this." Blue projected images of their rescue. "Their oceans were toxic to me. The storm was dangerous even for them. Yet this human came for me anyway. Is that not more impressive than any technology?" The council members watched the images, their lights moving in complex patterns. "You believe we should reconsider our position on humanity?" the lead member asked. "I believe we must," Blue said. "We have hidden ourselves, thinking we were protecting universal harmony. But true harmony doesn't come from hiding. It comes from reaching out, from helping others, from taking risks to do what's right." The council conferred again. Finally, the lead member spoke. "Your experience is compelling, Scientist Blue. Perhaps we have been too cautious, too quick to judge. Then you'll support open contact." "We will consider it. But first, we wish to hear more." The council turned to Jack. "Human Jack Miller, would you tell us your story? Help us understand your people better." Jack looked at Blue, who nodded encouragingly. He took a deep breath and began to speak, knowing that his words might help bridge the gap between two civilizations. After speaking with the council for hours, Jack's throat was dry. He had told them everything. About lighthouse keepers, about human history, about how people helped each other during disasters. Now, as the sun began to set, Blue had one final surprise. "The council has made their decision," Blue announced, their body glowing brighter with excitement. "They have given me permission to share something with humanity, a gift, starting with you, Jack." Blue placed their crystalline hands together. A soft humming filled the room as light gathered between their palms. Slowly, the light took shape, forming into what looked like a crystal about the size of a basketball. "This," Blue said proudly, "is a water purification core. The same technology we use in our cities." Jack looked at the crystal in wonder. It seemed to be made of layers upon layers of transparent material, each moving slightly differently, like waves in glass. "It's beautiful," he said. "But what does it do exactly?" Blue touched the crystal gently. It floated into the air, spinning slowly. "Watch," they said. Blue gestured to a glass of salt water they had kept for demonstration. The crystal pulsed once, and a beam of soft light touched the glass. Before Jack's eyes, the water in the glass began to change. The salt crystals separated from the water, floating to the bottom in a neat pile. The water above it looked perfectly clear. "That's amazing," Jack breathed. "And this can work on any water." "Any water," Blue confirmed. "Salt water, polluted water, contaminated water. It separates everything, leaving only pure H2O1 core like this could provide clean water for an entire city, and it never runs out of power." Jack's mind raced with the possibilities. This could help so many people. Drought-stricken areas, polluted rivers, cities without clean water. "Exactly." Blue's lights pulsed warmly. "The council sees this as a test. How will humans use this gift? Will they share it? Will they use it to help others?" "But why trust us with something so powerful?" Jack asked. Blue's three eyes focused on him. Because you taught us something important. When you saved me, you didn't know who or what I was. You didn't ask for anything in return. You helped simply because you could. The crystal floated down into Jack's hands. It felt warm, almost alive. This is more than just a gift of technology, Blue continued. It's an investment in humanity's potential. The Council believes that any species capable of such selfless acts deserves a chance to prove themselves on a larger scale. Jack carefully set the crystal on his work table. What happens next? I will stay to help your scientists understand the technology, Blue explained. But you, Jack, will be its guardian. The Council trusts you to help guide its use. After all, you've already shown wisdom in how you use your power to help others. Me? Jack was surprised. But I'm just a lighthouse keeper. Just a lighthouse keeper. Blue's lights sparkled with what Jack now recognized as amusement. You are the human who changed my people's view of your entire species. Sometimes the smallest roles lead to the biggest changes. Outside, the lighthouse beam swung through the growing darkness, keeping ships safe. Jack looked at it, then at the crystal, understanding the connection. Both were tools to help others, to light the way forward. There will be more gifts, Blue said softly, more exchanges between our peoples. But this is the first step, a test of trust, a bridge between our worlds. Jack nodded, feeling the weight of the responsibility. I won't let you down. We know. Blue's lights pulsed gently. That's why we're giving you the gift in the first place. Sometimes the best way to build trust is to offer it first. 1 year had passed since that stormy night. Jack stood at the top of his lighthouse, but the view had changed dramatically. Where once there was only ocean, now a gleaming structure rose from the water. The Earth's first luminary embassy, its crystal towers catching the sunlight like frozen rainbows. The water purification cores had changed everything. The first core, which Jack had helped test, now provided clean water to 3 major cities. More cores followed, and with them came more of Blue's people, scientists, diplomats, and teachers, all eager to work with humans. Jack watched as a luminary transport vessel glided through the water below. Unlike their spaceships, these were designed to work with Earth's oceans, surrounded by protective fields that kept the salt water at bay. The sight had become common now, but it still filled him with wonder. Enjoying the view, Blue's familiar voice came from behind him. Their crystalline form had grown brighter over the past year, marked with new patterns that showed their elevated status as Earth's primary diplomat. Always, Jack smiled, though sometimes I miss when it was quieter. You mean, when you weren't famous as the human who changed interstellar relations? Blue's lights pulsed with amusement. Jack laughed. He had gotten used to the attention, though he still felt uncomfortable when people called him a hero. To him, he'd just done what any lighthouse keeper would do, help someone in trouble. The Council has sent something for you, Blue said, their tone becoming more formal. They held out what looked like a crystal sphere about the size of an apple. Inside, lights danced in patterns Jack had never seen before. What is it? He asked, taking the sphere carefully. An invitation. Blue's 3 eyes brightened. To visit our homeworld. You would be the first human to see our deep water cities. Jack stared at the sphere in amazement. But I thought humans couldn't survive at those depths. That's the other part of the gift. Blue gestured, and a second crystal formed in the air. This one was shaped like a necklace. This will create a protection field around you, similar to what our ships use. It will let you breathe and move freely in our waters. Jack touched the necklace gently. Your people trust humans with this technology now. We trust you, Blue corrected. Others will follow. But you showed us the best of humanity. It's only right that you should be the first to visit. Looking out at the embassy, Jack could see human and luminary scientists working together on the observation deck. They were using the water purification technology to clean up ocean pollution now, turning Earth's seas healthier than they'd been in centuries. It's amazing how much can change in a year, Jack said softly. All because one lighthouse keeper didn't think twice about helping a stranger. Blue added, "Our historians are calling it the lighthouse moment, when two civilizations connected through a simple act of kindness." Jack felt humble hearing those words. "I just did my job." Sometimes, Blue's lights swirled thoughtfully. The most important moments in history happen when people simply do their jobs with kindness and courage. They stood together, watching the sun set over the ocean. The lighthouse beam automatically came on, sweeping across the water. But now it illuminated more than just human ships. It lit up a future where two very different species had learned to work together, all because someone had chosen to help a stranger on a stormy night. So, Blue asked, "Will you accept the invitation?" Jack held up the sphere, watching the lights dance within. He thought about that night 1 year ago, about taking a chance on the unknown, about how the smallest choices could lead to the biggest changes. "Yes," he said. "After all, a lighthouse keeper should learn about all the waters they might need to help people in." Blue's lights brightened with joy. "Then let's begin another adventure."